In this final chapter video installment, I wanted to expose two cornerstones to managing and publishing your website, and that's FTP operations and Expression Web and selective publishing. And then I'd like to wrap up with a new feature, and that's SEO reports, which is search engine optimization. So without further ado, let's get started. So in this chapter 10 segment, what we're going to do is take a look at some FTP operations and a few other management tricks and techniques. So the first thing I'd like to do is show you how you can open a live site with FTP. And we're going to do this to prepare the way for the publishing we're going to do of a local site. So let's do FTP Expression Web step by step. And then you'll get this remote site editing options. Edit live or local copy. If you click this one, basically runs you through the import website wizard. We're going to edit live. This is actually neat. I'll be able to show you something else while we're doing this. So there is the Expression Web step-by-step website, open live. I could, let's say, go to the home page and make a change. Let's make just rudimentary change. Let's highlight this and underline it, and then save it. So this is asking about the preview using a custom URL, which is a great opportunity for me to show you what it means. And so we're connected via FTP. So if it previews you, it shows you the page in preview in FTP, you can't see it because that's not what FTP is for. So we'll do and let's see. There it is. So that's our default HTML page, the same one that we just worked on. And let's bring it back one more time. Expression Web has converted it to an HTTP URL for us. And you can see that that's underlined. And this all happened live on the server, so that's kind of interesting. The next thing we're going to do is I want to publish the sample sites into that folder right there, 4. And if you look inside of it, I've been doing that over the course of the weeks that we've been working on it. So there's all the files, but I don't want them. So what I'm going to do is come back up to the top of the stack, highlight that, and press delete. Now this same operation, when opening a site with FTP, would also enable you to publish it back down to your local computer, which is nice because it's a great way to grab a copy of a site from a server, maybe something that you inherited from another webmaster, or maybe if you lost your local copy, you can always set up a site from this interface state and be able to publish your stuff down to you. We can press F5 on the keyboard and refresh the site, or from the view menu, refresh. Site, close. Site, and then we'll point to recent sites, and we'll open the sample site that we've been working with for these videos. So this is a more common situation. What I'd like to do is publish these folders and files from this site up to the web. So we'll do site publishing. Let's add a publishing destination, and we'll call it sample site 4. We're going in over FTP, and so we'll do FTP and then directory we want 4. Don't lead it with a slash or trail it with a slash, and don't close this with a slash for the destination. The username, okay, so what it's doing here is it's warning us that the folder 4 doesn't exist, and it doesn't exist because we just recently killed it off. So we say yes. And what happens is, here are all the local files and folders, and here is the empty folder of 4. That's why it's important to put 4, because otherwise you'd be putting all this content into the very root of the website, and you don't want that. So Now that you're in the publishing interface, it may look a little bit ambiguous as to how to get these files from here to here. You can select all and then publish, or you could do cite, publish changed files, or publish all files. We're going to click publish changed files because there are no files up here, and the result will be it's the same as publish all. You'll notice in this status area, it's listing the pages in this site. And that's an important thing to take note of, because when we come back to the next segment in this video, I'm going to show you how to speed this process up, especially if you have a lot of files on the local and a lot of files on the remote. The comparison can take a really, really long time. So there's some techniques for selective publishing that'll help with that. You'll notice that this is putting up 4 at a time, in any case that it can, and that as it begins to populate this remote server, these file state indicators will change. So we'll just let this run, and as it runs, you'll see the queue move over to completed. So we had 1750 to put up and 64 completed. The reason there's so many is we have a Deep Zoom Composer project in here too, and there's lots and lots and lots and lots of images in those. So that's what the bulk of those 1700 files are. So let's just let it run. Okay, the publishing operation is completed. You can see that we have 1801 files that have been moved, marked under the completed tab. On this tab here, you can also view the log. This is very similar to a log you might see in any other FTP program. The failed tab is empty, and the queued tab is empty. So what we have is a successful result, which it echoes up here. Last published status successful. Now, you can do the options of view your published log file or open your destination site in Expression Web. What I'd rather do is click that and then click the preview. It asks me again about using the preview URL, and in this case we're going to do http://expressionweb-step-by-step.com, and then you have to add the folder name, or else it'll try to path it to the root. Let's see how that works. Cool. And there it is. So it all worked. Neat. And that's how it works as far as publishing an FTP, publishing a website local to remote via FTP. So I hope you picked up a couple of tips there, and in the next couple segments we're going to look at some management tricks for optimizing this publishing experience. The process of managing a site for publishing efficiency can take place in a number of different ways. So let's set up. The first thing that I want to show you how to do is, you'll remember that when we published in the last video segment, it was a very long process because there were so many files. The files came because of this Deep Zoom collection. So you can right click it and then click Convert to Subsite. And then Expression Web will turn this folder into a subsite. And I'll be able to show you in just a couple minutes how that subsite helps. It helps in both the time it takes for Expression Web to compare the server files to the local files, and it also helps just with the raw publishing under Publish All Files. So that's been converted. You can tell by the globe icon on it. So let's close that up, and let's say we made a change to this page, and we're doing chapter 10. Let's make a change to this page, and let's grab the default page of the sample site, and we'll make a change to this. And since it was so recalcitrant and showing up, let's get rid of that Amazon thing. Okay, So now we have these three changed files. Save all, and you can click Cite Publish Changed Files. It'll bring up an options dialog. Let's open our publishing status and pin it. And what it's doing right now, in fact, we could even go into Site View Publishing, is it's listing the pages in Expression Web step by step. That's this side. And then it's going to compare them to this side. And it knows, Expression Web knows, which files have been changed. But we're going to pick up a little bit of efficiency because these files will not be compared. And that's where the bulk of the individual files were coming from, the Deep Zoom collection. So they'll actually stay out of the mix. And so we'll let it run through its file comparison, and then we'll pick it up from there. And now that they've published, we can see that there's the file comparison, no icons. While creating a sub-site and doing publish change files is a little bit more efficient, it's still not as efficient as what I'm about to show you. So let's go to this page and we'll do Control Z. We'll undo our change. Same thing here, Control Z, undo that change, and then Control Z. We'll put that back in. So we've got these three pages. Save all. Now there's one way that you can do it, which is to find the page with the opened icon, right click it, and then click Publish Selected Files. You could also do Control Select to select multiple. You can see that that file is completed. That's okay, but if you have, like, let's say a dozen pages open and 100 pages over here, it's really difficult to pick out the opened from the unopened. So thankfully, they've put a Publish Selected File from the context menu on each of these page tabs, which is really nice. And also added a save and a close. But the newest is definitely the Publish Selected. So with those three clicks, you've done what you need to do, which is push these change files up to the server without having to go through any kind of file comparison at all. So that's really helpful in developing some speed when you're publishing just stuff that you've just been working on and so on and so forth. There's no reason to sit there through a massive folder and file comparison cycle. So in the next segment, what we're going to look at is the SEO reports. And so when we come back, we're going to take a look at that. To use the SEO reports, you can go to Tools, SEO Reports, and that'll bring up the SEO checker. Now, by default, all pages is selected and it has show errors and warnings. The problem that I have with that is when you do it, you get a lot of instances. So there's 105 searchability problems in 20 pages based on criteria from here. So what I think is a better way to approach it is we'll close that out, go to Folders View, Panels, and bring up the SEO panel. And then what you want to do is set that to selected pages, and we'll select one page at a time. And now you've got something that you can deal with. Plus, a lot of the things that it might index in here won't matter to you. So let's just take this one, would be the default page. We have two issues here that are identical. The anchor text is too general to provide search benefits. And we can see that it's line 37 in one instance, and then it happens again at line 51. And we can see the iframe tag does not contain content for viewer. We can click that. And that'll open the Expression Web Help Manual, which you can also get to from F1 or from the Help menu here. Anyway, this goes into a detailed explanation. So let's say we go to this one. What it'll do is automatically throw us to the error at line 37. And we can see in the code pane that it's the link to the home page. We have title text in there, but it does say home as the value of that anchor. So is it something we want to deal with? Maybe, maybe not. But we can tell by seeing it in the yellow here that it's coming from the dynamic web template. So if we change it, it'll fix it for all of the pages. And then if you ran an SEO checker on the whole site, it would come back much more manageably. Let's go to this one. And as you can see, it focused us on line 51. And that's the link to the contact page. And it's another generality problem. And then we had the iframe issue. The search engine optimization field is very, very broad and very, very deep. So what I hope happens is that they decide to keep this search engine optimization panel and then refine it, perhaps by letting the user run the search against the dynamic web template or so on and so forth. So there you go for the SEO checker.